All right, you guys. Thanks for hopping on tonight or either watching the replay. Tonight, we were talking all about vision boards, why they're important, why we should have them. Some people have maybe done these in the past. Some people are like, I don't have a clue what you're talking about. But my friend Jenna and I are going to just sort of shed some light on some things that we love about vision boards. So lots of different people are watching the Zoom either now or watching it on the replay. So you may be on one of our teams. You may be through our Rachel Hollis network. You may be just a friend of ours who is a business owner and who is a woman, mom, boss, and really wants to rock out a vision board and learn a little bit more. So just so you guys know a little bit about myself and about Jenna, we have become friends online, lives in different part of the countries, but both have a passion and a following of Rachel Hollis and just are part of a group who really, we just love to encourage women. We both have done vision boards a lot in our life and really visualized, set goals for ourselves, not only personally, but professionally, and helped other people do the same. So we've actually never even talked specifically about what we love. So you're going to get two different takes on it, which is super, super cool. And we've been connected for, gosh, probably like a year and a half or 2 years now. So I love the fact that we can come on and share our brains a little bit. So why are vision boards important? And if you guys follow or in the Rachel Hollis group, this was week 3 of the last 90-day challenge. This was all about creating the vision board. And why does she bring this up in week 3? It's because when you're really going for goals and when you are really, all in on something, think about like a challenge you've given yourself. Usually the first 2 weeks, you're like super gung-ho, you're excited, you're like, this is awesome. And then by week 3, you start letting things come in, and excuses start to float in. And this is the point where she really says in week 3 of the last 90 days of the year and the decade, she really says, like, let's refocus. Like, you push through this week, on the other side of it, it's better. And so if you haven't, really thought about why a vision board at the end of the year, most people do them at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of a quarter. Like, why are we wanting to talk about this now? That is the reason why. Because a lot of us are really trying to finish our year strong, just as strong, if not stronger than how we started, right? And so this is a time that you can close your eyes and you can visualize about how you want the last 90 days of your 2019, your decade to go, right? So that is why we are talking about it. And so really like a vision board, think about why do we have vision boards? And it's really a game board. It is really the way that you can see yourself into where you want to be. Where do you want to be at the end of this year? Where do you want to be next summer? Where do you want to be in 5 years? You have to really, truly close your eyes and visualize what that looks like for you. And so that is sort of what we're going to talk about. We're going to walk through some exercises. I want to pass it over to my friend Jenna and have her hop on and share a little bit about herself and a little bit about, her vision on vision boards. Jenna, take it away. Hold on, unmute yourself. Okay, I got you.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Talk about vision boards. I'm actually really passionate about vision boards because even before I became obsessed with Rachel Hollis, it's really important to visualize where you want to be, and not just where you want to be and what things you might want to have, but who you need to show up as today to become that person that you want to be in 60 days, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. And if you don't have a vision for it, it's not going to happen. A little bit about me. I'm 26. I live in Southern California. I am a preschool teacher by trade. So I'm a Montessori preschool teacher all day. And then I run a virtual skincare business where I lead a team of about 50 women. I kind of show them the ropes, how to be successful, how to grow a team, how to recruit, how to brand themselves, and how to dream bigger. And really, like, my favorite part is for people finally believing in themselves and pushing past their limits of where they can dream. When I started out my business 2 years ago, my dreams were so small. You know, I started out and I didn't really have vision boards. I was like, it would be cool to travel a little bit. I eventually want to get married and have kids. You know, I had these really small, minor goals, like I want to have a house cleaner in years to come, you know. And now that I have become somebody who really practices like self-growth, personal development, pushing myself, and like mapping out my goals, not just like a goal as in a vision of the future, but what I need to do now and how I'm going to get there, like real life, you know. Um, so vision boards have been really helpful for me and for a lot of people on my team, a lot of my friends. And I actually started having vision board parties where I would have friends over. We would, you know, have wine and get magazines all over the floor. It was a huge mess. We would all bring magazines and have a poster board, and we would do it a couple times a year. And I mean, when you start out doing these things, it's like, oh, what catches your eye? And then it's like, I started being like, okay, well, it's not just what's in a magazine that I want to put on here, but what do I want to really see? And there's something powerful about visualizing it. And it's the nitty gritty details that you have to visualize. And I know the vision board is just pictures, but you have to visualize what you're going to feel like when you become that person on that vision board. So I was, you know, on that vision board, I used to just have like a mom with like her daughter or son and like matching outfits or whatever, you know, something silly that I would want to do, or an airplane for traveling. And now I thought deeper and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to put a picture on my vision board of a person with a stroller running. And to me, you need to know what these things visualize, what they symbolize. So to me, that means not going to work. And in the middle of the day, I can go for a run with a stroller with a child, you know, like all of these little things that, how is that going to feel when I can go to the beach at 2 p.m. on a Monday, you know, when I've been working full time. So really knowing what that stuff feels like. And I had one of my vision board parties. I have a friend named Kaylee. She's not on here, but she doesn't mind me sharing. She was telling me all these things that she would write down for Rachel Hollis's gratitude journal. And they started happening and becoming things. She was like, wow, they're really happening because I'm saying it every day. And it was like, it makes you start prioritizing your life. So she put on there, number one, she was single, and she put on there, I want to marry a man of exceptional character. And she wrote that every single day for months and months and months. And it wasn't just, I want to get married, I want a boyfriend. And it made her change her ideas. So she started dating different kind of people, the one who have exceptional character. And she all of a sudden, you know, found somebody who has all these things that would be somebody she would want to marry. It's not all about finding love, but you know, it's finding what you really want and figuring out how to get there. So that's what I think you need a vision board for, to really know exactly what you need and to the small details. Yeah. So that's me.
I love it. And I do believe that vision boards go hand in hand with journaling and, you know, and really your affirmations. And so one of the things that I love, and that I will say one of my great mentors, Blair, who is on here, has really taught me is the vision boards are not just about, you know, us and our business or us and things that we want to accomplish. My kids do vision boards now. You know, they have them in their room. They can see them. We do a family vision board. And you really have to sort of, before you jump into your vision board, you have to really sort of see, what does that structure look like? Do I want to do it once a quarter? Do I want to do it, you know, about, you know, one for my business, one for my personal life, one for my family, one for my kids? So, you know, first thing is knowing what that structure looks like and breaking it down. I love to have goals and really visualize where I want to be in 20 years, where I want to be in 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, but then also breaking it down quarterly. I do a big vision board at the beginning of the year, but every quarter I update it. Hopefully I'm taking some of those short-term visions off and replacing them with new things that come out. But you have to be specific. So we are going to go through, and some of you may have seen this worksheet before, and some of you, if this may be new to you. And if you're watching this on the replay or watching it live and you want this like actual copy for yourself, just drop me a Facebook message. I'd be more than happy to send it out to you. And so this is just a really good, you guys, idea of how to be able to visualize. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. Really how to visualize and make a vision board. So the very, very top, like think about what your top priorities are in life. I have examples of, I've changed the way that my vision board looks, but I have a vision board from a year and a half ago that I wanted to show you guys, to show you an example of what it is. I broke it down for my family, my business, and my personal life. Okay, those are my top 3 priorities in my life. Now, there are a lot of things that fit into that. So you see, knowing what your top priorities are, God, family, business, those are some examples. But what are yours? Yours look different than, Jenna's, or look different from Lacey's or from Vicky's. So, but then when you break them down, so for example, like I will share, like I have this, and this is like something that I visually can see. I have 3 of these little boards, and they sit right here to the left part. You want to be able to make sure that you can physically see what your vision is, right? So when you are making excuses for yourself or letting things come into your mind, you get an idea of why you are doing what you're doing, why you're doing self-care, why you are spending time with your family, why you're not shopping, why you're saving money, why you're working hard at growing your business. Whatever it is, you know why, because you visually can see the vision board, right? And so for me specifically, if I'm going down to the second one right here, what are 2 to 3 big goals? Each of your priorities over the next 4 months. You can do it the next 3 months. You can do it the next 10 weeks as we're closing out this 90 days. That can be altered, okay? But the structure of this, what does it look like? One of the biggest probably vision boards that I had that was about a 2-year vision board thing was to be able to spend 3 weeks in Hawaii with my family. Okay, that actually went, you guys who know me know that happened for this last summer, but that wasn't just something that started a few months before. It was something that we had to work for. I had to visualize. I was thinking about what we were doing. I was thinking about relaxing. But then I had to put that plan into place of how it was going to happen. We had to have the time. We had to have the money to make that sort of vision happen, right? And so think about what those goals look like for each of your top priorities. And then you can break it down. You can break it down for, like I said, the last 10 or 11 weeks of this year. You can break it down for, what does it look like for the end of 2020? However you want to do it for the time frame. But you take that goal, you take whatever that priority is, and then you break it down into specific things. Okay, maybe it's something at your business. Maybe there's a certain level of your business that you want to hit. Maybe it's a certain income level. Maybe it's a certain number of people that you want to help. Maybe in your personal life, it could be that you want to wake up and you want to journal and do a devotion every single morning. Maybe it's getting solid at a morning routine. Maybe it's staying true to your calendar. Maybe it's learning to say no, right? Like these are all things that can fit into a priority, all right? So you're not making that plan yet, but you were visualizing what you want to do that. So you see some of the examples, family, spending one meal together, God, memorizing a Bible verse each day. That is where you really get specific about the priorities. Now, how does this apply to your actual vision board? What do you do for that? So if we're using the very first example, God, memorizing a Bible verse, once you start and you're actually putting the pictures and the words and you're putting that on there, you can put a picture of, the Bible. You can put a picture of how many days. There's 10 weeks left. That is, 70 days. You can put the number 70 because that is attaching the actual number to what your goal is. And the thing is like printing out images, printing out positive quotes. I love to put real pictures on there. I love to have real pictures of real people that I'm going to be impacting their life. And some of these people you may not know, right? Like they just maybe Google images, but it helps you visualize who you want to help. If it's something like for your family, it's visualizing, it's cutting out their heads and putting them on a beach somewhere. If you want to go on a cruise, you want to do that, it's putting a cruise ship out. It is printing the exact itinerary of that cruise ship and putting that on your vision board. It's getting specific, right? So those are a few of the things from that worksheet. And Jenna, do you have anything that you want to add to that? Because I know you were peeking at it a little bit earlier too.
Yeah, so there's so many different ways to do vision boards, but the main thing is you want to be looking at it all the time. It's not something that you want to just do right now for 20 minutes when you feel motivated and you're in this group and then tuck it away and never see it again. It's something you want to see all the time. So whether that is that paper, you have it printed out and you have it next to your desk, you have it as your phone screensaver, or like having it up on your wall. There's something about like actually visualizing it and seeing it over and over and over to make it feel more possible and feel more true. Another thing is that there's so many different ways that I love the way that you did one written out, but I also have like a Pinterest board where I made like vision board last 90 days of 2019. And I just found pictures that they're not pictures of me or people I'm going to necessarily help, but it's things that make me want to work harder today for these exact things. So, and I like to have, this might be not exactly the topic of vision board, but it's kind of similar. I started this new thing where I have notes in my phone of things I want to buy or things that I want for my family. And it starts really small and it makes you work harder. Like, I want to pay for my own money of my business for my family to go to Disneyland at Christmas time, and it might be, I wanted these shoes, it starts out small and then it gets bigger and bigger. And just seeing that written down somewhere is like, okay, that's what I'm working towards. And that's why I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. today. That's why I'm going to sacrifice this fun thing for this thing that kind of sucks right now for a bigger payoff. So I'm just going to show my Pinterest one real quick. Let me see if I can turn this around. So this was like my Pinterest one of right now. I wanted like family matching Jordans. And then like, vacations with kids. Don't marry rich, be rich. If you're too comfortable, it's time to move on. Terrified of what's next, you're on the right track. So just like, I want to go to a national park. Here, I'll turn it back around. So there's so many different ways, and I honestly think it's more what you're into. So if you're someone who, is super visual and you want to cut things out magazines or you want to have a big poster, that's great. But if that sounds like a lot of work for you and you would rather have it just on your computer and, get it on your Pinterest board or whatever, that's another way to do it. So think about what resonates with you most.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the other things that have been very helpful for me that I have learned is being able to see it in lots of different places. So for me, it works great to have it in my office, but I also like to keep an album on my phone. I learned this with my team as well. Keep an album on my phone of my actual vision board or of those photos, because I'm traveling. I'm not always in my location, but then I can keep and I can see specific things that I want to do. Also keeping, a screensaver, having your screensaver be whatever. It doesn't have to be your entire vision board, but it can be one item, one thing that you really are close to, you have been envisioning it, you're really close to, or it's something that incredibly motivates you. Also having it before you go to bed at night. I know a lot of us are really great at morning routines, but then our evening routine sometimes is like haphazard. I know that was for me. I was really great at a morning routine, but my evening one it just didn't exist. And so I've really worked hard and still working hard at trying to develop what that looks like. But part of it is preparing for the next day and finding gratitude in what has happened that day, but also remembering why we do what we do, why we are, working hard through the day, why we are helping other people, why we are, going about and we are doing things for our own self-care, why we are doing things for our family. And a lot of that is me reminding myself of that before I go to sleep at night. So I keep a journal beside my bed and I'm able to read my affirmations, able to read what those actual visualizations are. And that's a huge help, because I think the more that we see this, we close our eyes and we really truly see, we're still, and we really see what we want to accomplish, who we want to be. It's not always about items, or it's not always about adventures. It's also about the person that we want to be, that we want to show up every day in our life, our characteristics, right? What we want our kids to be like. All of these things, if they're constantly at the top of your mind, they're more likely going to happen, right? We're writing it down. We know when we write things down, they are implemented so much better than, like Jenna said, putting it, making it pretty, doing it, and then never looking at it again. So we're going to just stop with our, as far as our content there goes, and just really open it up for Q&A. Or if you feel like, I know, Jane, I saw you showing your vision board. Like, if you feel like if something's on your heart that you have to offer to not only the people live tonight, but the people who are going to be watching the replay, we would love to just hear, like, something that's helped you with vision boards, or how you're approach, or even if you have any questions at all about vision boards. And Jane, you should share yours, since you had it right there. Go ahead.
Okay. It's funny you said that you were going to do this Zoom, and I had just redone mine this weekend.
Wow.
I had a lot of pictures on it. It was bigger, and I just condensed it. But I started with family, and my husband and I sit together at night watching a TV program, but we don't really ever go out. So I would like to have a date night once a week. And then I've got grandkids, and I don't see them very often, and they live down the road. So I would love to see them more often. So that's my family. And I have a Daily Magic 6 that was in another training that I took. 6 things to do daily to bring you joy and to interact with other people. On the spiritual side, because I want to do my devotion every day, I want to be of service, I want to empower others. And I know you saw me moving around. My number is, I don't know if you can see that, 67. I'll be 67 in November, and I want to help 67 people between now and the end of the year. So that's my goal. So I'm going to add that up here. But that's my spiritual side. And then down here, can you see this? Here, there you go. I want to get out of debt. We're both retired. We have a fixed income, and I think Lavelle's my vehicle for that. I want to buy an airplane. I want to take the family on a vacation. So those are my monetary things. But that's it. I've kind of simplified it.
I love that. And there's nothing wrong with simplicity, right?
Right.
I think it's great. Good job. That's good timing, right? Anybody have anything else you want to contribute? Questions? Who's going to do their vision board in the next 48 hours? Yeah, good. Lacey, I see you're like, ah. It's a lot of fun, you guys. I know Jenna was saying about having a girls' party. I think that's so fun to do. Also think it's a lot of fun. My kids, if you do have children or you have grandchildren, my kids get so excited. The best one that they ever did, they like checked off all these goals. Most of them were school or sport related, right? Or vacations. But it was so cool to watch them go through the few months and watch them really, truly like check things off. And sometimes, one of my children in specific is extremely like very focused and is very driven. Sometimes too much. I have to make her relax. And it was very interesting because she would see certain things that she had visualized that she wanted that were on her vision board. And some of it was like to have fun. And instead of, studying for this or going to an extra practice, it was to have fun. And so it was a great parenting tool as well. If you do have children, or pass it on to friends that don't, or grandchildren, it's a great parenting tool to just remind, like, remember, this is why you said you want to, you want to be good at this sport, or you want to have these grades, or you want to work hard to achieve this. Well, this is, sometimes you have to give up things, right? And so I think it's a really great parenting opportunity for us to pull through some of those things that necessarily always aren't easy. Also for, I'll just add this because I do think that this would be applicable to probably almost every single person. If not you now, it probably was in the past. But to have like the financial sort of goals, like meeting with your spouse, your significant other as a family. I know for us, that was something huge that we did. You know, if you're trying to get out of debt, if you're trying to have X amount of dollars in a bank account, what does that look like? What does that look like? Does that mean that we don't go out to dinner but one night a week? Does that mean that this is our budget? And then when you're like, oh, I don't feel like cooking, I want to just go out to eat, you can remember what you committed to on your vision board. And you've seen that because there's something that you're visualizing you want. And so it makes the day-to-day life, I think, a little bit easier when you're trying to accomplish those goals. So yes, Joanne. Oh, good. I'm glad you will. Yes, you're on a long vacation, I know. So, all right, guys. Well, I will make sure to get the recording tossed around. So if anybody wants to share this with anybody that's on your heart, you can. Thanks, Jenna, for hosting it with me. This was fun. All right, you guys. Y'all have a good night. Bye.